Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. So I knew that we were not going to have an ETF, but I did not expect it to actually happen this way. The CBOE BZX exchange has withdrawn a proposal rule change that, if approved, would clear the way for a Bitcoin exchange traded fund backed by VanEck and SolidX. In a notice published on Wednesday, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Deputy Secretary Eduardo Aleman wrote that the CBOE BZX exchange had pulled its proposal rule change, which would have allowed it to list shares of the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin Trust if approved. The exchange filed its withdrawal on the 22nd of January, that is yesterday. The proposal was filed last June when VanEck, an investment firm, teamed up with financial services provider SolidX to provide a physically backed Bitcoin ETF to the market. Other such proposals have relied on Bitcoin futures contracts rather than the cryptocurrency's price itself. The SEC delayed the decision on the proposal a number of times, asking for public comment and then taking meetings with the proponents. The regulator faced a final decision on the 27th of February. While the notice itself did not provide a reason for the withdrawal, some security lawyers speculated that the ongoing government shutdown would result in the ETF being denied, as no staffers at the SEC are able to review the proposed rule change. VanEck CEO Jan VanEck reportedly told CNBC earlier Wednesday that the proposal was being withdrawn and would be submitted at a later date following continued discussions with the SEC. So as of right now, the way that it stands, the way that it's looking, here's the actual... Sorry, I found the website that actually had the actual text from the withdrawal. Not really necessary to read it out per se. The thing, and this is, and I don't even know if it's a double or triple-edged sword. A lot of people in the cryptocurrency community did not believe that we needed a Bitcoin ETF, that we didn't need, in any instance, any type of government encroaching into the cryptocurrency space, and especially when it comes to larger financial institutions. A lot of people also saw the arrival of a Bitcoin ETF as something that would potentially add an enormous amount of volume to Bitcoin's daily volume and therefore potentially increase the price, but also another way for institutions to be able to manipulate the value or price or whatever the case might be of Bitcoin. So it's very odd because I mentioned before in other videos, especially last year, my main thing about everything was that there was such a hyper amount of focus on the ETF, and every single other bit of good news that we've had, I've seen the frustrated comments before. I've seen everyone discussing this amongst themselves or me trying to join in, whatever the case might be, about the actual need for a Bitcoin ETF, or rather even more so, the other good things that we had happening in the cryptocurrency space. You realized when there is significant bad news, I will deliver it. If it's something like someone lost something in their shoe, whatever, that's not a thing, then I won't, usually report on it. But the fact is, if, I typically have seen over the course of the last 8 months, roughly around that time frame, even as, markets have gone down, we have seen nothing but an entire wave of constant good news. And I kept on saying that I thought it was very odd for some reason that no one was focusing on any type of good news that we had, regardless of who was adopting Bitcoin, talking about adding Bitcoin, using Bitcoin as a payment option, adding this for daily this and doing so and so and so. Every single thing that came down to everything in cryptocurrencies the last year, since prices have been going down, has focused around the idea that we were going to eventually have a Bitcoin ETF. And now as it stands, it appears that this is not going to happen. I'm going to assume that this is not going to happen anytime soon. I think a couple of things are going to happen, and this is just kind of my opinion. Because this news is relatively new, I think, and I don't know exactly how the market is going to react to this. You realize before that whenever we had, when we were getting close to the date of the SEC potentially allowing or whatever, letting in a ETF proposal go through, the prices of cryptocurrencies would go up. And then the moment there was a rejection, prices went down. This is no longer a rejection. This is a complete withdrawal, saying that they no longer want to do this. I assume that this was because they knew that because of the government shutdown that there wouldn't be any ETF gone through, and they would rather have a withdrawal from the situation as opposed to waiting another month for the SEC to say no, which they kind of know or knew was going to happen. So I guess the short and long of it, I think that's the saying, comes down to where does crypto go now? Where does Bitcoin go now? Since this news came out, you may have noticed the prices are reacting. I will kind of say that. We've had news from many analysts before that in order for the price of Bitcoin, and I guess at the moment, therefore, the rest of the cryptocurrency space, because when Bitcoin moves, everyone else kind of moves. In order for the market to get going, this is just what everyone else has been saying. These are not my words. If you've been here the last 2 months, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that we need the market to capitulate, that we need Bitcoin's price to kind of nosedive to get to the point where we hit a dramatic bottom and then therefore prices go up. I don't know if this is going to be it, but it seems like a huge catalyst. The market has relied so heavily on the idea that we were going to eventually get a Bitcoin ETF sometime in 2019. I never thought 2019 was going to be a time frame for a Bitcoin ETF. I think the SEC has kind of slept on it for a bit too long. The government shutdown has also not helped. And as of right now, just thought everyone out there should know, it appears this is not going to happen. I'm going to assume, regardless if we have a bull run, bull market, bull anything at this point, that the CBOE is probably not going to resubmit a proposal anytime in the near future, maybe not even till the end of 2019, if not 2020. So if we should have a tumultuous next couple of days, you know why. Just going to, I guess on that note, let us move on a tiny bit from this. I mean, tying completely into this, the market downturn that has prevailed since early 2018 is now within weeks of becoming the longest winter in the history of the cryptocurrency markets. Despite being on course to become the longest downtrend in Bitcoin's history, the current market has produced the weakest drawdown of the three major bear trends experienced by BTC so far. On the 16th of January 2019, CNBC's Ran Neuner tweeted that the 2018-2019 bear trend has entered its 390th day, just 30 days fewer than the entirety of the 2014-2015 bear trend, which he estimated lasted around 420 days. While the exact length of a bear market or bear trend is hard to precisely quantify, the tweet highlights the length and intensity of the prevailing cryptocurrency downtrend. And I really don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I'm fairly interested, I'm pretty sure like all of you are at the moment, to see exactly what's going to happen. Crypto was leaning heavily on the idea that we were going to get an ETF. To be clear, this is not the only exchange traded fund Bitcoin proposal that we have out there right now. If you remember, about 2 weeks ago, we had another proposal. I can't remember the name of the company. They all have really weird letters and all this other stuff, where they proposed that I think it would be a 33% split. It was going to be, I think, government bonds, the US dollar, and I think the other 33% was going to be based off of Bitcoin's price, something along those lines. So this is not the only ETF proposal. I feel like CBOE was definitely trying to make sure that they didn't have pie on their face, if you can kind of say that. According to analysts out there, they say the idea is the longer the bear market, the longer the bull market, the lower that we kind of get to see how low Bitcoin's price is going to go. This will be a proper gauge to see exactly how far we could end up going in the future, i.e. typically before in the past for Bitcoin's price, we have seen that Bitcoin typically sometimes follows anywhere between a 15x to around a 20x in price during a bull run, even though we are expected, according to some analysts, to maybe go potentially a lot higher than that. But these are typically the numbers that we look for. I don't know. There were many things that I thought would have started the cryptocurrency market trend, craze, bull market, prices going back up, whatever you kind of want to name it. and they have not yet come to fruition. I do not know exactly what's going to spark it. Something definitely at some point will. But as of now, we are, I mean, at least you want to look at it a nice way. We're setting records. That's kind of a thing we can, I mean, in 4 years, we're all going to look back at this and laugh at it anyway. So why not break records while we're at it? Yeah, okay, let's move on. Next up, also making big news, the London Stock Exchange, or the LSE, is providing the trade machine technology or trade matching technology for an upcoming cryptocurrency exchange in Hong Kong. The LSE Group announced on Tuesday that its Millennium Exchange matching engine has been chosen to power AAX, a new exchange platform being launched by Hong Kong-based fintech firm Atom Group. AAX is scheduled to launch in the first half of this year and will be the first crypto exchange to use the matching engine product, according to the LSE. According to this separate statement from the Atom Group on Tuesday, the LSE Group also provides tech solutions to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, or the HKEX, and the Singapore Exchange, or the SGX. Atom Group CEO Peter Lin said that Millennium Exchange will help AXA build a platform that ensures safe, trusted, and secure trading for both retail and institutional investors. It will also enable AAX to provide a scalable and compliant crypto trading platform. So the news around this is that they're going to be using, I guess maybe they are in partnership using the technology of the London Stock Exchange. People are saying that this is a way for the London Stock Exchange to be in the cryptocurrency game without technically being inside of it themselves, what have you. No actual word on which cryptocurrencies are going to be launching with this. I think it's very odd, and I know it's not just me. This is probably the 8th stock exchange, major institution, corporation, blah, 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 money transfer, whatever, who is getting into the cryptocurrency space, and they keep announcing these major things that they're going to be doing this, and they're going to be launching within the first half of the year, quarter one of this year, by March, end of February, April 1st, so, and we never have an actual indication of which coins they're going to be adding. I think it's cool that they're using the London Stock Exchange's tech. However, I care a tiny bit more as to exactly which coins they're going to be listing, because this increases liquidity potentially across the entire market. But as places in Europe, and one can only assume within Hong Kong, don't have the same stringent regulations when it comes to listing security tokens or commodity tokens, or what's the other phrase, utility tokens. It would be nice to know if they were going to be listing 15 coins at one time, or if it's going to be the normal 2 coins that usually get listed. But still very good news. Another cryptocurrency exchange that's tied to another stock exchange. But that's just kind of how popular crypto is at the moment. Next up, I thought this one is actually kind of cool and interesting. Pennsylvania's Department of Banking and Securities, or the DOBS, has clarified that crypto exchanges and service providers do not require a money transmission license to operate in the state. The DOBS published the new guidance for the local crypto industry on Wednesday, following a number of inquiries from businesses. It said the department explained that as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are not money, the Money Transmission Business Licensing Law, or the Money Transmitter Act of Pennsylvania, does not apply to crypto trading platforms. According to the act, only fiat currency, or the U.S. government-issued currency, is considered money. To date, no jurisdiction in the United States has designated virtual currency as legal tender, the department said. The act states that parties conducting the business of transmitting money need to be licensed if they transfer fiat currency and must charge a fee for the transfer. However, as crypto exchanges never directly handle fiat currency and the transactions are conducted through a bank account, these are not money transmitters that require the license, according to the guidance. Only other businesses in the sector, such as cryptocurrency kiosks, ATMs, and vending machine providers, are also not money transmitters. They may have single-handedly, and I don't know what ramifications is not the word that I'm actually looking for, what effect this is going to have on Pennsylvania as a cryptocurrency state. But they're leading the way. I can't stress any of that enough. The fact that they have figured out a way to get around the idea that cryptocurrency exchanges are not money transmitting services, and therefore you do not need a license, unless I completely read that in another language, except for my mother tongue. This is I can't even begin to try to explain how significant that this actually is. They opened the door for a lot of other cryptocurrency companies and crypto exchanges to be housed in their state. And effectively, especially the idea, where did it say that as they never actually touch the money, they are not money transmitter that require a license? What exactly does that entail? Does that mean, I don't know. Logically, would Binance then be able to just open up shop in Pennsylvania and only help customers within Pennsylvania? It's all, I guess I need a bit maybe more clarity. Maybe it's not as, no, it's pretty clear. It's pretty darn clear as to what they're saying. I appreciate when states, countries, towns, jurisdictions, continents, whoever they may be, release things like this. I think it is it shows that they understand cryptocurrencies a bit more. I can only assume, as I was not in the room for this meeting, that this has been done to be able to get the attention of cryptocurrency businesses and or startups or whatever the case might be. This is completely huge. I wonder how this translates into, I assume when it comes to cashing out of crypto, there's probably some type of tax that has to be paid. But what then ends up happening, we had the same exact news from the people from the New York Stock Exchange that when they release Backed, once again, part of the thing that they're going to have is that they allow companies and so on to be able to, accept cryptocurrency as payment. But when you kind of dig a bit deeper into the exact wording of it, it says that your crypto will be sent to like another company, which will then transfer that crypto into fiat, and then that'll then pay the actual corporation, whoever you decided to pay. So then does that also mean that you are able to then pay for things within Pennsylvania without actually having to be taxed? Like it's a non-taxable offense, so you don't need a license. Very interesting. Very good job for them. I think more states need to kind of do stuff like this. I think it'll be very important as we continue to go forward, but that in itself deserves a nice golf clap, because I hope other people take a page from their book, because that is absolutely incredible. Next up, we've heard this from a couple of people. It says a new analysis in Bloomberg suggests that the Bitcoin bottom is somewhere around $3,000 to $3,100 using the GTI Global Strength Technical Indicator. The analysis says that Bitcoin is probably oversold at this point. They said that the indicator for Bitcoin is nearing oversold levels, clocking in at a 35.6. That's the lowest level since December. Bitcoin appears to be stabilizing around $3,500 with clear support at $3,000 and $3,100, the measure suggests. So this was also mentioned yesterday by Changpeng Zhao, who is the CEO of Binance. Everyone is constantly mentioning over and over. And in situations like this, I have my own opinions as to why people kind of come forward and mention things like this. Not me, but like as far as like Bloomberg, for instance, why would Bloomberg be talking about this? Or even heads of cryptocurrency exchanges, they're all kind of mentioning, and I don't know if these are hints to the market, that Bitcoin's prices, and we heard this even a couple of weeks ago, that the entire cryptocurrency market is so heavily oversold right now that the prices kind of make no sense in accordance with how much it costs to actually mine a Bitcoin, and also just in general where the actual, if you kind of want to air quote it, like the price fundamentals of what Bitcoin does. There was also some news that I didn't include in this video. It said that I think throughout the entirety of 2018, Bitcoin actually transmitted $3.3 trillion US worth of money, air quotes, back and forth. You are typically very hard pressed to find any other payment system in the entire world, especially very established ones, that have traded or transacted trillions of dollars between them or within themselves. This is kind of where you get these ideas from. Like this kind of negates the idea of Bitcoin or many of the other cryptocurrencies in the top 10 of ever being worthless. You cannot logically be worthless or deemed worthless when you are capable of transmitting $3.3 trillion amongst your platform, amongst your code, whatever the case might be. This is why everything I find it very interesting. Speculation time. How interesting would it be if and I don't think this is actually a thing, if the CBOE withdrew on purpose just to try and get the prices to kind of hit that $3,100 level? It's fairly obvious, and I've noticed the movement as well in the sentiment around this. I think 2018 was, at least the first 11 months of 2018 was our time to be a bit annoyed that prices were going down. But I've noticed a lot of analysts as well are kind of like kicking the bucket isn't the term that I'm looking for, but they're kind of kicking rocks because they're getting really annoyed because they realize that prices shouldn't be as low as where they are right now. But lo and behold, they kind of remain this way. Obviously, I think the next couple of hours, it's already 10 o'clock here, so I think the next couple of hours will be fairly significant to see exactly what's going to happen with the prices of the broader crypto market, if you can kind of want to say that. I'm actually very shocked that, oh, well, there we go. A little dip just happened. I was going to say I'm surprised that the prices haven't really gone down at all, but lo and behold, I think next 5, 6, 7, 8 hours are going to be fairly significant. As this news becomes widespread, everyone else is going to figure out that this ETF is not going to happen. Will we get into a situation where the market just doesn't care? Prices don't react. Everyone just assumes that we will eventually, at some point, get a Bitcoin ETF, or will the market react a negative way and kind of shoot down? And I said it before in another video. Sorry if it sounds too negative, but if we need to, as a market, if Bitcoin needs to hit 3,000, 3,100, 2,500 in order for the prices to completely skyrocket again, let it happen right now. Let this be the catalyst so that by the end of next week, we can all have a brighter outlook on the future of cryptocurrencies. Anyway, I think that is definitely going to do it for this video. Very interesting times in the cryptocurrency space. As always, I hope you all have a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you once again to my Patreon supporter, Vlad the Impaler. I do appreciate you as well as everyone else. You guys are all incredibly awesome. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. I promise things are going to get better. It's just we have to stumble over a couple of bricks at the moment. But I figured that we were not going to get an ETF. I didn't expect it to kind of turn out this way. If we have to drop, let it happen so that we can all have a brighter future. Thank you all once again. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.